Okay, so a huge story is breaking right now. The US has launched a surprise military strike in Venezuela. And wow, it is already incredibly controversial. So, what's the official justification for it? And what are the arguments against it? Let's get right into it. All right, here's what we're going to walk through. First, the operation itself. Then we'll look at the administration's case for the strike, followed by the opposition that's already emerging. We'll touch on the political fallout here at home, and then tackle the big one. What happens now? So this all happened really fast. The news broke about a major U.S. military operation, and almost immediately, the questions and the controversy just started to explode. And the very first question that people started asking, especially Democrats, was pretty straightforward. Is this even legal? Did the president actually have the authority to launch a strike like this without getting the green light from Congress first? Okay, so that brings us to the administration's side of the story. How exactly are they justifying this move? Well, their case really boils down to two main pillars: legal authority and historical precedent. At the very heart of their legal defense is the president's executive power. They're pointing straight to Article 2 of the Constitution, arguing that it gives the commander-in-chief all the authority needed to order this kind of military action. Now, to back this up, they're not just pulling this idea out of thin air. Supporters are pointing to a very specific moment in history, Operation Just Cause, back in 1989, when the U.S. went into Panama to capture Manuel Noriega. For them, this is a clear precedent. The idea is, hey, we've done this before to take out a hostile leader without starting a massive war. When you really look at all the official reasons together, it's a fascinating mix. They're calling it a limited surgical strike. They're painting Maduro as this direct threat, a narco-criminal. They're also talking about a humanitarian goal, restoring democracy, and of course, national security with Americans in the country. And on top of it all, they're framing it as simply following through on a promise. But as you can probably guess, the pushback was immediate, and it was strong. The opposition started firing back, and they weren't just questioning the little details, they were challenging the entire premise of the operation. And this quote from Congressman Jim McGovern, it really gets to the heart of the opposition's view. In their eyes, this strike was fundamentally completely unjustified and was carried out without the right authority or a good enough reason. And this is where you really see the two narratives just colliding head on. On one side, you have the administration's case, a precise legal action to get rid of a tyrant. But on the other side, you've got this stark warning of an unjustified, dangerous overreach that could drag the U.S. into another long, messy conflict. And all of this, all the arguments and fears, it really just boils down to this one crucial question that's fueling the opposition. Is this a one-and-done kind of deal? Or is this just the first step onto a very slippery slope toward another long and costly American war? So, no surprise here, right? This military action abroad has instantly become a deeply divisive political fight right here at home, splitting the political landscape wide open. And look, these worries about getting stuck in a long-term conflict, they don't just come out of nowhere. Critics are quick to point to the history of American interventions, places like Grenada, Panama, and especially the long, drawn-out war in Iraq, as cautionary tales for how limited actions can spiral out of control. And the result is that this military strike is now a major political flashpoint. It's just sharpening the divide we already have. You have one side basically celebrating a victory, while the other is demanding accountability and some serious answers. All right, so with all this fear and debate about a long war swirling around, how was the administration responding? What did they say is the actual goal here? This is it. This is the big question, the elephant in the room that is being put directly to the administration and its supporters. It really captures the biggest fear surrounding this entire operation. And the answer coming back from the administration's camp is a very clear and a very firm no. They are hammering this point home over and over again. This was a targeted surgical strike. This is not, they insist, the start of some big, massive invasion or a decades-long occupation. Now, this quote is absolutely key to understanding what they say the endgame is. The argument goes something like this. Hey, we're not trying to do nation building here. It's not about creating a democracy from scratch. Instead, it's about removing a single barrier, the Maduro regime, so that a country that already knows how to vote can finally have those votes count. So in the end, that's what this all comes down to, doesn't it? Was this a decisive, justified action to remove a tyrant and restore a little bit of freedom, or was it a dangerous overreach of power that sets a really risky precedent for the future? One thing is for sure, this debate is only just getting started.